Hello, hi guys. This is CA Balakrishna. How are you? Hope you people are doing well. Even I am fantastic. In the previous two classes, we have revised first two chapters of CA Inter Audit. Right now, in the today's class, we'll be revising a third chapter. Basically, this third chapter it deals with audit planning. Basically, you have your SA 300, right? The entire SA 300 related concept will be discussing in a third chapter. Without any waste of time, let us start our revision quickly. Now, if you see the audit that the auditor conducts, it can be divided into three stages. What are the three stages? Planning stage, execution stage, reporting stage. Now, whatever we are going to discuss in this third chapter, it comes under planning stage. These are the three stages of audit. And about reporting stage, we will discuss in 700 series and remaining various other standards that we will be discussing in 500 series, 600 series, and all those they come under execution stage. So these are the three stages of audit. Now, okay, sir, you are telling SA 300 it deals with planning, but why planning a audit is required? Can't we do the audit without planning? The answer is in order to do effective and efficient audit in a timely manner, you have to properly plan the audit. Sir, what is this efficiency, effectiveness? What are these terms? Let us see. So first of all, why to plan the audit? In order to conduct effective audit in an efficient and timely manner, you have to plan the audit. Now, what is meant by effectiveness? Effectiveness deals with achieving your objective. The example that we will use in our regular classes, let's say you are preparing for CA examinations, right? Your CA intermediate, group 1 and group 2. Let's say you are preparing both the groups, group 1 and group 2, and you wrote your examination. Unfortunately, you are able to clear only group 1. Here you will be said that you are 50% effective. If you are able to clear both the groups, then you will be said that you are 100% effective because you have achieved your complete target. Let's say this should not happen, you were not able to clear any of the group, it would be said that you are 0% effective. So effectiveness means achieving the objective. The measure of how much amount of objective you have achieved is the effectiveness. Okay, hope that is clear. And coming to efficiency, what is meant by efficiency? Let's say the same preparation for CA examinations itself, there are two students, Mr. A, Mr. B. Mr. A has spent some 3 months for his revision for both the groups of CA intermediate. Mr. B spent 6 months for revision of both the groups of CA intermediate. Both of these students, they have wrote the examination. Okay, both of these students, they have wrote the examination, and both have cleared both the groups. Mr. A cleared 2 groups, Mr. B also cleared 2 groups. Now in this situation, both of them are effective only, they are 100% effective, but Mr. A is more efficient because he has utilized lesser resources. So efficiency means utilizing lesser resources for achieving the objective. So that is known as efficiency and effectiveness. So in order to conduct the effective audit in an efficient and timely manner, planning is required. Got it? Next, what are various benefits of planning? This is a general concept. By properly planning the audit, you can devote appropriate attention to important areas. In the planning stage itself, you will get to know in this entity which areas are very much important, which areas are highly risky, so that you can concentrate in on that areas more. This way planning will help you. Next, It will help you to resolve potential problems. Potential problems means problems that have not yet occurred but that might occur in future. So by properly planning the audit, you can predict potential problems and solve them, and also you can properly organize and manage the audit engagement. Of course, if you are having a proper plan, you can properly organize and manage the engagement. For your preparation of CA intermediate, let's say you have prepared a proper plan, then everything will be under your control, right? So with the help of planning, you can properly organize your audit. Got it? Next, it will also help you to select engagement team. So in the planning stage, the auditor, it will help the auditor, the planning will help the auditor to decide which people should be included into the engagement team. Okay, so how many article students should be included, how many qualified people should be included in the engagement team. To take this decision, the planning will help the auditor. Got it? Next, direction and supervision of engagement team. Okay, if the auditor has properly planned the audit, he can properly direct the engagement team, because the audit, it will not be done by the auditor, by the chartered accountant. No, the team under him will do the audit. So if there is a proper plan, the auditor, he will be able to guide the team. Okay, he will be able to give the work properly to the team. He can properly divide the work among the team. So audit planning will help for this to the auditor. Next, coordination of work done by others such as expert. See, in case of auditor, sometimes auditor might have to use the work that is done by expert. Now what is meant by expert? Sir, auditor, he is expert in the area of auditing, and he is also expert in the area of accounting. Sir, auditor, he is expert in these two areas, but during the audit, there will be various scenarios where auditor doesn't process expertise, like calculation of provision, calculation of gratuity provision. Okay, now in this area of calculation, auditor will not have expertise. Okay, he can understand those calculations, but he is not having expertise for making these calculations. An expert is required. Okay, so if at all auditor uses work of an expert, not only in this situation, there are various scenarios, like let's say for example, the entity is dealing with the oil exploration, and as on 31st March, auditor, he needs to obtain audit evidence with respect to inventory. Now oil, it is present beneath the earth. Now how can auditor know how much inventory of oil is present in the earth? For this, again, expertise required, right? So like this, for various situations during the audit, auditor will use the work of an expert. So in order to properly coordinate with the expert, planning will help the auditor. Okay, so these are the benefits of planning. Now what are the elements of this planning process? Basically there are two elements in the planning process. Firstly, you will do certain preliminary engagement activities. That means those activities that you will perform before starting the audit will be known as preliminary engagement activities. This is the first element of planning process. Next element is the planning activities. Okay, this is the second element of planning process. So what are the two elements of this planning process? First one is preliminary engagement activities. Next one is the actual planning activities. We will discuss these two elements. First of all, preliminary engagement activities. So what is meant by preliminary engagement activities? Preliminary means before doing the audit, you will perform certain activities. Those are known as preliminary engagement activities. So the first thing that you will do is, you will do client acceptance and continuance procedures. If you see, we have discussed about client acceptance and continuance procedure even in SA 210, agreeing to the terms of audit engagement. So what are the client acceptance procedures that you will perform? You will see integrity of the client. Okay, before making a decision of whether to accept this engagement from the client or not, you will check whether client is honest, whether he is having integrity, whether there are any fraud cases against him, whether he is willing to comply with all the accounting standards or not, right? All these things you will see as part of integrity. Checking integrity of the client, this is one of the preliminary engagement activity. Okay, next, competence of engagement team. Okay, you have checked whether the client is having integrity or not. Okay, client is having integrity. You will also see whether the engagement team is competent enough to perform that engagement or not. Competence means capability, experience, whether the engagement team is having a capacity to do the work that is given by the client. That also you will see, because if the engagement team is not having the capacity, but you have accepted the work, you cannot discharge the work properly, right? So before accepting the engagement as part of a preliminary engagement activities, you will do this checking of whether the engagement team is competent enough or not. Next, you will also communicate with the predecessor auditor. Okay, client is appointing you as an auditor for the current year. In the previous year, there would have been some other auditor. Now, why that previous auditor has been removed by the client, and why client is appointing me? To know that, you have to communicate with predecessor auditor. Predecessor auditor means previous year auditor. Got it? Next, implication of current and previous audit matters. Okay, if in the previous year audit also has been done by you only, then you have to see what implication the matters that I have found out in the previous audit will have on the current period audit. So these four things you have to do as part of client acceptance and continuance procedure. Next, you will also see whether you and your engagement team will be able to comply with ethical requirements, including independence. What are the ethical requirements? Five fundamental principles we have discussed: integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence, and vigor and professional behavior, right? In the first chapter we have discussed, in the second chapter also we have discussed. So as part of client acceptance and continuance procedure, the second thing that you will do is you will check whether you will be able to comply with ethical requirements, including independence. And the final thing is understanding of terms of engagement, right? Without properly understanding the terms of audit engagement, you should not accept the audit engagement, right? So this is the first element of planning process. Yes, the first element is done, right? Next, moving to second element, which is planning activities. Now if you see, in these planning activities, there will be three things that the auditor will prepare. First of all, whose responsibility it is for the planning of the audit? Of course, it is the responsibility of auditor, right? Auditor has to properly plan the audit. Now, in the planning phase, auditor will first of all prepare overall audit strategy. This is the first document that the auditor will prepare as part of planning. Now, this document, it provides a brief idea of what is the objective of audit, what is the scope of audit. Generally, to say this overall objective, overall strategy of the audit, this document, it will answer you two questions, that is what has to be audited and when it has to be audited. These two things will be answered by the document known as overall audit strategy. So this is the first document that the auditor will prepare as part of a planning process. Now, based on overall audit strategy, auditor will prepare audit plan. This is the second document that the auditor will prepare as part of planning activities. Now this audit plan, second document is there na, this is very much detailed when compared to overall audit strategy, and this audit plan document is there na, this will communicate, this will answer you how to do the audit, what procedures has to be performed. So the question of how will be answered by audit plan. So what has to be audited, when it has to be audited will be answered by overall audit strategy, and how it has to be audited, will be answered by audit plan, and audit plan will be prepared based on audit strategy. Which one will be prepared first, audit plan or audit strategy? Of course audit strategy will be prepared first, and only based on audit strategy audit plan will be prepared. Got it? Next, we have another document as part of a planning activity, which is audit program. Now this audit program contains detailed audit procedures that has to be performed, and this audit program will be specifically given to the assistant who is actually doing the work, who is actually doing the audit. Now in the audit team there are 5 assistants, 5 article students. One article student he will audit assets, one article student he will audit liabilities, one article student he will audit incomes. Okay, like this work is divided among the article students. Now each article student will be given an audit program with respect to his area. Okay, so audit program will contain the detailed procedure of audit of that particular area, which will be given to the audit assistant who is actually doing the audit. Got it? So these are the 3 documents that will be prepared as part of planning activities. What are the 3 documents? First of all, overall audit strategy, audit plan, audit program. Right? Now if we discuss these 3 things, our chapter gets completed. First of all, we will start with overall audit strategy. So overall audit strategy, what are the benefits of overall audit strategy? I have told you overall audit strategy will decide the brief scope means which areas to be covered, and brief objective of the audit. So based on the scope and based on the objective, you will determine your resources. In case of audit, resources means the human resources. Okay, the article assistants, the paid assistants who has to be employed for the purpose of audit, they will be the resources. So with the help of overall audit strategy, you will be able to properly employ qualitative resources. Qualitative resources means highly qualified people, and allocation of quantity of resources. With the help of overall audit strategy, you can also decide how many people should be allocated to each area of the audit. Okay, if the area of fixed assets is highly risky, then you will allocate more resources, more people to that area. So one of the benefit of overall audit strategy is allocation of quantity of resources. Next, timing of deployment of resources, so when those resources should be deployed, and properly managing those resources. So overall audit strategy will help you to allocate quantity of resources, decide quality of resources, timing of resources, and management of those resources properly. Next, while you establish the audit strategy, that means while you prepare the audit strategy, what points has to be kept in mind by you? So first of all, you should consider, see, factors while establishing the audit strategy. You should consider what are the characteristics of this particular engagement. Okay, identify characteristics of the engagement. Characteristics of the engagement means which financial reporting framework is being followed for preparation of financial statements of this entity, and what is the business nature of this entity, in which industry this is working. So all these comes under characteristics of the entity, because the audit that you perform will vary based on the characteristics of the entity. Okay, for banking company you will do the audit differently, for manufacturing company you will do the audit differently, okay, for insurance company you will do the audit differently. So based on characteristics of the engagement or characteristics of the entity, the type of audit that you will perform will vary. Okay, the procedure in which you will perform the audit will vary. So while preparing overall audit strategy, you should first of all take care of the characteristics. You should identify the characteristics of the engagement. Next, ascertain reporting objectives. Reporting objectives means auditor, after doing complete audit, what reports has to be given. Is it sufficient if I just give the audit report as per Companies Act, or should I also give Caro report, and should I also give report on internal financial controls over financial reporting? And in case of a banking companies, there will be various other reports that has to be given. So based on types of reports that you give, the way in which you do the audit will vary. Accordingly, the audit strategy also will vary. Right. So while preparing overall audit strategy, you should also consider what are your reporting objectives. Next, what are the factors that are significant in directing engagement team efforts? So in the entity, there will be various areas. Now, of these areas, where should the efforts of my engagement team should be directed more? Okay, you should also consider this. Like, if in a particular area, let's say for example sales, the risk of material misstatement is high, then of course the efforts of engagement team will be directed more towards revenue, and the risk of material misstatement in area of salaries is less, then less the efforts of engagement team will be directed for that area of salaries. So you should, while preparing overall audit strategy, you should consider what are the significant factors that will decide in directing the efforts of engagement team. Next, consider result of preliminary engagement activities. Okay, now the first element of this planning process is performing preliminary engagement activities, right? So in this preliminary engagement activity performance, if you have found out any matters, consider those matters also while developing overall audit strategy. Okay, and next, finally, nature, timing, extent of resources. Nature means which type of resources, like even employees are also one type of resources. So for this audit, which type of employees should be employed, like qualified chartered accountants should be employed, or article assistants are sufficient, that comes under nature of resources. Next, timing of resources, when they have to be employed, and the extent of resources, how many people should be employed. So these five things you should consider while establishing overall audit strategy. So that is about overall audit strategy. Next, coming to audit plan. Now what will be there in the audit plan? Audit plan contains the audit procedures that has to be performed, right? Now the audit procedures, they can be risk assessment procedures as per SA-315, further audit procedures as per SA-330, and some other audit procedures, right? This we will discuss in the fourth chapter about audit procedures. In our regular class we have already discussed, so you would have remembered the audit procedures, right? So audit plan will contain them only. First of all, planned RAP, risk assessment procedure as per 315. Next, planned FAP, further assessment procedure as per SA 330. Next, any other planned audit procedures. These three things will be there in the audit plan. Next, audit strategy and plan. Now we have studied about audit strategy and also about audit plan. Now we will study these two things together. Okay, so audit strategy and audit plan. First of all, what is the relationship between audit strategy and audit plan? Are they in relationship? Yes, they are in relationship. What type of relationship it is? If strategy is changed, plan will also change. Okay, strategy is prepared first, then plan is prepared. Without a strategy, you cannot prepare the plan. This is the relationship between audit strategy and audit plan. See, strategy is prepared before the plan. Plan is more detailed than strategy. We have discussed this point also. Strategy is just brief, whereas plan is very much detailed. Next, strategy and plan are interrelated. They are interrelated with one another, and strategy provides guidelines for developing the plan. So since a relationship exists between these two, who are these two? Strategy and plan. If strategy is changed, plan also will change, right? This you need to remember. Next, whose responsibility it is to prepare audit strategy and audit plan? Of course, I have told you it is the responsibility of auditor, right? See, it is auditor's responsibility for strategy and plan, and engagement partner and other key members should be involved in the planning. Of course, engagement partner, that means the head of this engagement, that is the engagement partner, and key engagement members should be involved while developing the plan and strategy. And can you communicate about your plan with the management? Yes, you can communicate about your plan, you can discuss about your audit plan with the management, but while discussing the plan, care should be taken that effectiveness of audit will not be compromised. That means you should not disclose a complete plan to the management. We should disclose only that much amount of the plan that is necessary for the management, because management has to facilitate the auditor for conducting the audit, right? Auditor will go to management's place to the company and do the audit. So management should know when the auditor is going to come and what he is going to verify, right? So that management will arrange those documents, right? So to only to that much extent the plan should be revealed, but you should not reveal detailed plan. If you reveal detailed plan of like what procedures you are going to perform, on which items you are going to perform, and whom you are going to select as part of sample, if you disclose all these things, management will take care that none of their frauds will come out. Okay, so care has to be taken that not to compromise on effectiveness of the audit. Next, another thing. Now, sir, you told that the audit, it can be divided into three stages, which is audit planning, execution, and reporting. Now, should auditor prepare audit strategy and audit plan only in the planning phase, and he should not alter that in the execution phase and reporting phase? No, auditor can alter audit plan and audit strategy during execution phase and reporting phase. Okay, in fact, auditor plans the audit continuously. Okay, auditor plans the audit not only in the planning phase, even in the execution phase and in reporting phase also, auditor continuously revises his plan and strategy, because as the audit progresses, he finds new things, more and more information he gets. So based on new information that he has identified, he will suitably alter his plan and the strategy. Okay, so auditor should update and change the strategy and plan during the audit. Some of the factors because of which auditor will update the plan and strategy include results of unexpected events. Okay, during the audit, before doing the audit, auditor thought that in the debtors of this company there will not be any misstatements. All the debtors are real debtors only. But while actually doing the audit, auditor found that there are many misstatements in the debtors. So now, because of this unexpected event, what the auditor will do? Auditor has to change his plan, and his plan should focus more on the debtors, because in debtors there are more misstatements, right? So because of results of unexpected events, plan or strategy can change, and also change in the conditions because of change in the existing conditions, or because of change in the audit evidence obtained, not change in the audit evidence, because of the new audit evidence that the auditor has obtained, or because of change in law notification or government policies. Okay, because of all these things, auditor might have to change his plan or strategy during the audit. Okay, now with respect to this chapter, what documentation has to be maintained by the auditor? Of course, audit strategy will be documented. Next, audit plan will also be documented. If in case during the audit you have updated, you have changed your strategy and plan, then you should also document why you have changed the plan or strategy, what are the reasons, and you should also document changed plan or strategy. These three things you need to document. What are the benefits of documentation? This is general point. It will act as record of key decisions that have been taken by the auditor, and it will also act as record of nature, timing, extent of RAP, risk assessment procedure, and record of reasons for changes in strategy and plan. These are some simple benefits of documentation, right? Now we are done with audit plan, audit strategy. We are just left with the third document, which is audit program, right? Let's discuss that. So, what is the audit program? See, after you qualify your CA intermediate, after you join your articleship, if you go for the audit, your principal, he will keep in your hand a audit program. See, you have been allotted with the area of assets, and of course I know you don't know how to audit assets. Take this audit program. You audit the assets as per the guidance given in this audit program. So audit program, it will contain detailed step-by-step procedure of how to audit a particular area. Okay, so audit program. Now the question is, first of all, audit program, it consists of list of verification procedures. Yes. Next, is one audit program sufficient for all the businesses? Okay, can you prepare one standardized audit program and can you use it for all the businesses? No, right? Because each business will be different. The nature of each business will be different. So you cannot prepare one audit program and use it for all the businesses. But however, you can prepare a standardized program, and based on requirements of the business or the entity that you are going to audit, you can make changes to this standardized program that you can do. So you need to remember that businesses vary in nature, size, and composition, and also efficiency and operations of internal controls. Okay, the level of internal controls that the entity has implemented in its organization will differ from entity to entity. Okay, in one entity, internal controls might be operating effectively, whereas in another entity, internal controls are not at all there. So for these both entities, you cannot use the same audit program, right? So because of this reason, you cannot have single audit program using for all the businesses. Okay, next. So since you cannot use a single audit program for all the businesses, so what you will do is you will prepare a standardized audit program. See, auditor develops a standard audit program to provide for minimum essential work that has to be done, and based on the experience that has been gathered by the auditor and based on the client that he is going to audit, he will make suitable alterations to the existing standardized program. See, program may be altered as experience is gained, and similarly unnecessary procedures can be dropped off from the audit program. Okay, so similarly unnecessary procedures may be dropped off, and the assistant is there now, who is doing audit, the article assistant or the paid assistant. Now auditor, he should give an instruction to the assistant, you don't stick to this audit program. Okay, there might be some procedures not present in the audit program. So based on the circumstances, based on the relevant situations, even though a procedure is not there in the audit program, if you feel that that procedure has to be performed in that situation, you perform it. So auditor has to ask the assistant to keep open mind, not just to restrict the audit program. Got it? So assistant should be encouraged to keep open mind, but not strictly follow to the audit program. Next, points to be considered in constructing the audit program. What points you need to consider? This is simple. See, the scope and limitation of assignment. In the audit strategy, you have decided the scope and the objective and the limitations. All these things you need to consider while developing the audit program. Next, audit program, obviously it should be written audit program, because you are giving this to the article assistant, so that that article assistant, he can follow that audit program and do the audit. So it should be in written format. And identify the best evidence available. The audit procedures that you prescribe in the audit program, that you keep in the audit program, should be such that by performing those audit procedures, you will be able to obtain best audit evidence. See, audit evidence, we will discuss this further in SA-300, but simply audit evidence. Now, how you will give your opinion that you give in the audit report as per SA-700 based on this audit evidence. So, your report is based on audit evidence. And how you will obtain audit evidence? You will obtain audit evidence by performing audit procedures. And these procedures can be RAP, FAP. Got it? So report deals with 700 series, audit evidence deals with 500 series, audit procedures, they'll come in SA-300 series, some in 500 series, various audit procedures. So RAP and FAP. Got it? So this is how you need to interlink the standards. Next, you should also consider what is the objective of each area. Objective means goal. What is the goal of auditing each area? So you are auditing fixed assets. What is the goal of auditing fixed assets? The goal of auditor to audit fixed assets is to ensure that as on 31st March, this fixed asset is present. This fixed asset belongs to management. On this fixed asset, depreciation is charged properly. So this is the objectives of auditing a particular area. So while developing the audit program, you should consider all these objectives, because based on these objectives only you will prepare the audit procedures. Okay, to achieve a particular objective, you will prepare an audit procedure, and where the audit procedure will be there, it will be in the audit program. So while preparing the audit program, you have to consider what are the objectives of auditing each particular area. Got it? Next, possibilities of error. You should also consider whether there is any possibility of error in that area. If there is a possibility of error in that area, of course you will increase your audit procedures. Got it? Next, advantages of audit program. What are the advantages of audit program? First of all, you should not confuse here. There is advantages of overall audit strategy, and there is also advantages of audit program. Under overall audit strategy, the advantages, they completely deal with the resources, the allocation of quantitative resources, identification of qualitative resources, management of resources, timing of resources. Like these 4 points completely they deal with resources in the benefits of overall audit strategy. Whereas in the benefits of audit program, it helps the auditor to give clear set of instructions to the assistant who is doing the audit, because audit program is nothing but the work that the assistant has to do. So by giving the audit program to the assistant, auditor is giving a set of instructions to the article assistant to do these procedures. Your audit will be completed. Like this, a clear set of instructions will be given in the form of audit program. Next, total perspective of work to be performed. By giving audit program, the article assistant will also get a total perspective, a total idea of what work I have to perform in this particular audit. And of course, audit program will help to avoid overlooking of certain books and records. Okay, you will not overlook, you will not miss auditing any books and records with the help of, if you have this proper audit program. Next, responsibility for the work carried out by putting signature. Basically, after the audit work is done as per the audit program, the article assistant who has done that work will sign his, will put his signature on audit program. So after 2 years or 3 years, if any misstatement or anything wrong is found out in that area, auditor, he can take that audit program and he can see who has audited this area. Acha, this particular assistant has audited this area na, so that you can call that particular assistant and ask the reasons. So you can fix the responsibility on the assistant, on the person who is doing the work, with the help of audit program. Next, control the progress of various audits. See, the auditor, the chartered accountant, he will not do audit of only one company. There will be lots of companies that he will be auditing, right? On various companies, various assistants will be working. Now for the auditor to see what is the progress of each audit, okay, to how much extent each audit is completed, he can just gather all the audit programs given to the article assistants and he can go through to how much the work is completed. Basically in the audit program, there will be, for each area there will be procedures and they have to tick and they have to write any remarks after performing that procedure. So by going through the audit program, auditor can get to know, acha, this particular assistant, he has performed 50% of his work, still remaining 50% is pending. Like this, the status of all the audits in hand can be viewed with the help of audit program. And of course it will also act as a guide for the future audits. These are the benefits of audit program. However, there are some minor disadvantages of this audit program also, but however these disadvantages, they can be overcome. What are the disadvantages? Let us see. After that, we will see how to overcome those disadvantages. First of all, work may be mechanical. See, you are giving the article assistant this audit program and asking the article assistant do the work as per the procedure prescribed in the audit program. Okay, for the first audit, he will feel excited because he is doing that work for the first time. For the second audit, third audit, fourth audit, he will feel bored because the same procedures he is continuously performing repeatedly on different clients. So the work might become mechanical because of this audit program. This is one of the advantage, one of the disadvantages. However, to overcome this disadvantage, what the auditor can do is auditor can ask the article assistant, you keep open mind, okay, by just not following this audit program, you also do any other procedures that you feel has to be performed. So by keeping an open mind, you can overcome this disadvantage, right? Next, rigid and inflexible. You are giving a set of instruction and you will say, if you tell the article assistant don't go beyond these instructions of audit program, then it will become rigid. But if you instruct the article assistant be open mind, then also you can overcome this disadvantage. Next, inefficient assistants may take shelter behind the program. Now any article assistants who wanted to skip the work, who are not liking to do the work, those people, they can take shelter behind this audit program, saying that that procedure is not there in the audit program, so we have not done it, right? So like this, the inefficient article students can take shelter under this audit program. There is one such disadvantage. Next, it will also kill initiative of efficient and enterprising assistants. There will be some article assistants who wanted to explore new things, right? Who wanted to explore new items in the financial statements and new ways of auditing. Now, for those type of exploration people, if you just give the audit program and you restrict them to that audit program, of course, it is a disadvantage. However, for this also, these disadvantages can also be overcome by keeping a open mind. So how to overcome the disadvantage? First of all, imaginative supervision of the work. Okay, the auditor, he needs to properly supervise the work. Auditor must have attitude of receptiveness. Whatever the article assistants are telling, auditor needs to take them, auditor needs to consider them. It should not be one way, it should be two way. Next, assistants should be encouraged to observe matters objectively. Objectively means based on facts. Okay, another thing that you can ask the assistants is to keep open mind. By this also the disadvantages can be overcome, right? So this is our SA-300 third chapter. So if you see, almost the first chapter it is done in 2 pages. Second chapter also it is done in 2 pages. Even the third chapter also it is done in 2 pages. See, you can check this from the book ICA material or from our audit concise book. None of the concept is missed over here. Okay, we have covered complete concept. Got it? Since these are revision charts, the content, the length will be small, but all the concept will be covered. So yes, this is revision of SA-300, which is the third chapter, and we'll be winding up this class as of now. We'll meet in the next class with the fourth chapter revision. Until then, take care. Bye bye. See you.